Good evening, this is Atmospheric Alex here with yet another tropical weather outlook and discussion. And we're going to be going ahead and talking about a trio of tropical systems out there in the Atlantic. It looks quite wild out there, if I do say so myself. So we're going to start off with Sally imagery here of Hurricane Gabrielle. It was Major Hurricane Gabrielle as a Category 4 the other day. Definitely outperformed model expectations, but there it is right here. Weakening a little bit quicker here, moving on off to the northeast towards the Azores Islands. That is going to be something we're going to need to watch over the next couple of days. Alright, so we're going to start off by taking a look at weather-wise here from the National Hurricane Center at Hurricane Gabrielle. As you can see, right now it is currently a borderline Category 2. Actually, I think it just dipped below that. I think it's a Category 1 now as of like an hour ago somewhat. But you can see this thing racing on off to the northeast towards the Azores Islands here. So if by chance you are from those islands and you are watching this video, you need to pay attention very closely for the next few minutes as I go over the hurricane models, because you could definitely be talking about some destructive wind impacts being possible and some rainfall as well. And high surf, can't forget about that too. And much later down the road, we're even talking about Portugal and Spain potentially getting some tropical depression impacts here. Maybe some isolated, tropical storm force conditions along the coast, but definitely it looks a little bit interesting out there. You don't usually see impacts like this, but I'm not expecting anything too crazy as of yet. Now, as we look at our spaghetti models, yes, they are pretty well in agreement here. You can see them going right over the Azores here, especially near Horta. I hope I am saying that correctly. If I'm not, please correct me, but this is the northern portion of the Azores getting the most impacted. And before we move on, let's take some time to appreciate our high-resolution, zoomed-in mesoscale view of Hurricane Gabrielle the other day. Look at that swirl. That is absolutely insane. And if you look really closely, you could see some mid-level clouds actually being generated and being sucked into Gabrielle's eye right there. Absolutely a breathtaking imagery from cyclonicweather.com. So let's now go ahead and take a look at our hurricane models for Gabrielle here, and you can see these are forecasted wind gusts from our half-day model, and we're going to run this through time. You can see it does weaken a little bit, and it doesn't look quite as strong as before, so this is some really good news for the Azores, but we're still anticipating wind gusts upwards of 50 to even 70 miles an hour on some of those islands there. Oh, look at this here. You get some of these features that wrap around. Gusts upwards of, this says on the maximum, 104 miles per hour. I really hope we don't see anything like that, because that would cause significant damage to that little island right there. But again, we're just going to have to wait and see. It will be a nowcasting situation when it comes to the exact wind gust forecast. And that blows on through. This is going into early Friday morning, late Thursday night. Now our halves B model here, we're going to take a look at this as well. You could see a bit of consensus here that is growing, that we could see a very significant destructive swath of wind here on some of your westernmost islands. We're talking about gusts upwards of 80 to 90 miles an hour being possible. I'm going to be a little more conservative though and say maybe 70 to 80, I think is a good guess. That definitely is going to bring some significant impacts. And continuing on through again, the late Thursday night, goodness gracious, again, some of your more consolidated localized spots could see gusts even higher than 80, so we do need to watch this closely, and you need to prepare now. Now, of course, Gabrielle is not our only feature out there. We're also taking a look at Tropical Storm Humberto right here, which is actually getting its act together quite rapidly here, and you can see some of your mid-level cloud features that are really beginning to swirl around on those last few frames there. That is definitely looking like a period of rapid organization, if you ask me. So we're going to be watching these impacts for Bermuda down the line. And speaking of this, we have our latest cone of uncertainty right here. You can see it, Humberto, excuse me, is supposed to become a Category 2 to even a Category 3 hurricane as it brushes just to the west of Bermuda. And we could see some track changes. Again, the center could be as far east as here, or as far west as here. So we still have, a lot of wiggle room to work with here because we're so far out in time. So that is something to note. And as we take a look at all of our spaghetti models here, again, these are all your different models showing where Humberto can go. And you can see the grand majority of them are actually now keeping it well off to the west of Bermuda. But we're still talking about a ton of high surf concerns and some gusty winds on the island for sure. Now, I thought instead of moving on, to the models that we have for Humberto, we should probably take a look at Invest 94L. This is your other system we'll be watching, and the reason why we're doing this is because these can do a little bit of a tropical tango with each other, right? A little bit of a dance per se, and that is something we're going to have to watch for. You could see 94L is currently a lot further south than forecasted, is already trying to get some kind of a mid-level center potentially established right there. Yeah, that is significantly further south than originally modeled, so we just gotta hope that maybe our convection can move back up to the north, because if this goes too far south, we're gonna be having this thing tracking through the Caribbean a bit, and the waters there, the conditions there are very favorable for rapid development of any tropical system in that area. And of course, here it is right now. You could see our large 80 to 90% chance of development area right within here from the National Hurricane Center. I should highlight that in red, but you get the idea. And then you see 94L down here, and that is going to be moving into that general area. Though, again, the NHC thought the center would be about right here. You could see a large difference. A much further south scenario could pan out, and we could be talking about maybe a track perhaps along this portion of the circled area. Again, something we need to watch. It's not a forecast because we're very uncertain on where exactly this thing is going to form. And as we take a look at our European ensemble here, we can see here all our different solutions. So no, there are not 30 hurricanes, okay? Every single dot you see on your screen is an individual member of the European model. So we're looking at our pressure right here, and you can see right off the dot here, right off the gate, Humberto does appear to have a much stronger signal than Invest 94L, and this has been very consistent between model guidance. So we are expecting Humberto to become quite a significant hurricane, if not even a major hurricane, as we go into the 29th and the 30th of September. But again, 94L still picking up a couple or few members here. Definitely not as impressive as it looked this morning, but still, we're going to have to watch that. But Humberto out here, definitely looking very significant. And if you can't see it, right there, that dot, that is Bermuda. And you can see a lot of members within here curving right up into the general vicinity. So this is something we're really going to need to watch for as time progresses. You could see that right there. That is definitely something to really monitor. So Bermuda, again, you need to stay very weather aware, very tropical weather aware over the next week or so, as this could be a very significant impact. And then, of course, areas in, say, your Greater Antilles need to watch out, as well as your Bahamas. Now, switching to your deterministic European model, so this is just one model here. You can see here Humberto here, Invest 94L here, bringing a tropical depression to tropical storm impacts to portions of your Bahamas right within here, and then Humberto out here steering well clear of Bermuda, and let's hope that remains the case. But you can see as we go into the 29th and the 30th, the same thing happens, and this actually eventually gets pulled out right behind Humberto. Whether or not these are going to do a little dance around each other is fairly uncertain at this time, especially with 94L being a lot further south than modeled. Because again, our main area of convection is right within here, while the European model thinks it's right up here, and this is going to make a huge difference in the long run. How about our European AI model here? I actually have not seen this yet. This is your 18Z model run, so it just initialized about an hour or two ago. You can see Humberto here becoming the dominant signal, like I've been saying, and this is actually going to add some well-needed ace points to our hurricane season. Again, that is basically your accumulated cyclone energy, and is a good way to determine just how active a hurricane season is. So if we do get a long-tracked hurricane or even a major hurricane, we're going to get a lot of points added to our ace, and this could push us to an average season or a slightly above average season, something that you may not have known about. Okay, but getting back on track here, Invest 94L further off to the west goes right through the Bahamas, and you can see definitely quite a few members here push it directly against the southeast coast here. Look at this, South Carolina, North Carolina. We're really going to have to watch out here. So something to really note here is the AI model is bringing 94L a lot closer to the US. So certainly something to be mindful of, and then that's all said and done. Now, how about our deterministic AI model here from our European model? You can see again 94L. This is a very consistent theme of it going right up through the Bahamas, so we know that will likely happen at this point. And you can see Humberto back here becoming much stronger. And take a look at this, a tropical storm impact directly there, to the southeast US. Again, we're going to have to monitor this over time. There's a lot of uncertainty in our track as of now. And Humberto staying well clear of Bermuda. That is some good news. In our main GFS model here, you can see here, definitely talking about same song and dances to our other models. So 94L not getting too strong as something to watch, but it looks like Bermuda may actually be more in the clear than we first thought, so that is some good news. Alright, with that being said, thank you all so much for tuning into today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. As you can tell, I'll be getting a little bit tired here, so hopefully you all found this video still just as entertaining as the last. And again, if you found this video informative as well, please be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to my little corner of the weather community, and be sure to share this with friends and family on social media so they get the word as well. With that said, you all have a wonderful night and stay very tropical weather aware, everyone.